Okay, so today is a very big day. Today is the day that I am finally going to switch over to having a smartphone. So I have had for my entire life one of these. Yes, I know. You probably can't believe that it is, what day is it? It is September 19th, 2018, and I still have this, but now it comes to an end. I really have a lot of reasons as to why I have kept a dumb phone for so long, or what some people call a baby phone, but we'll get into that later. All right, so now I'm in the car. I'm about to head out. I'm literally using a GPS. When was the last time you saw one of those? But remember, don't own a smartphone yet, so I can't just use my phone in order to GPS my way anywhere. Oh, got it. Okay, track phone. Yeah. You probably don't see a lot of these. Okay, so I am back. I have my phone. So what I didn't tell you guys was the fact that I didn't end up getting the phone that day. I had a lot of complications. It's a really long, obnoxious story. But I have it now, so here it is. This is, I think it's like a Moto E5 Cruise, something like that. I don't know. I didn't get anything too fancy. Whatever. This is me we're talking about. Okay, so there's kind of a lot of things I didn't get into, like why it is that I waited all this time in order to get a smartphone. It's 2018 and I still have never had one before in my entire life, which I know some people might think is crazy. I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm just going to be getting ready for work before, as I do this. So there's that. So the reason why I waited so long, it just kind of happened, first of all. I kind of spent my whole life with not the same phone, but like the same cheap prepaid cell phone plan by TracFone. If any of you have used a TracFone before, you know what I'm talking about. It's the cheapest there is on the market. Also, I am quite young, so it was just what was given to me by my parents initially. And when I became an adult, I continued to use it. I just did, and my parents did too. They never upgraded. A lot of people that are young that ended up getting smartphones, it's because their parents got like the family plan for their phone, and so it just made the most sense to get everybody a smartphone. We never had that. We kept the same TracFone. So you guys might be like, but it's so cheap. Why wouldn't you do that? And I'm like, well, first of all, they didn't want to. They didn't want smartphones. They didn't see the reason for it. They're a little bit older. They didn't feel like learning about it. So there's that. And secondly, TracFones are actually still the cheapest on the market. So if you were to get a TracFone, the phone itself would probably cost you about $5. It's often what people use as burner phones, or that's what they call them. They're burner phones because criminals will use them in order to commit crimes and then throw the phone away so it doesn't get tracked. So it's only $5 when you initially buy it, and then to get minutes on it, because this is prepaid, you have to put time on it in order to use it, however many minutes you want to use in that 3-month period. So the good thing about this is if you don't use all the time by the end of the 3 months, you get to continue to use the minutes that you bought before for however long until they're all used up. It doesn't really matter. So you can kind of have them saved up after a while, especially if you have like a month or two where you're really busy, you're not really socializing. So there's that as well. And yeah, it just adds up. So at some point, you end up only buying the 20-minute, no, is it 20 minutes? I don't think they sell those anymore. The 60-minute cards for the whole 3 months. I know that sounds crazy. But there is that as well. So you end up only buying that. And that is $20. So do the math a little bit, that's $7 a month. So if you really only have a phone for the purpose of calling and texting and not really anything else, TracFone's kind of worth it. And that's really all you need in order to get by. So you don't really need all this additional stuff on your phones. And so that is the first reason, is it just made sense. It was cheap. I was a poor college student by the time I was financially independent, in most ways, I would say, including like which phone plan I picked. And so $7 a month when you're a poor college student, and it's like more than sufficient, and you kind of like don't even really need to call people much anyway because you're on campus. Most of your friends are already there and they're already with you. You can like run into them, you can go to their dorm, you don't need to call constantly, and it's better that way anyway. You prefer it. So there's that. It just made sense. Other reason is, and this is how I am a very much easily addicted to technology sort of person. So even when I was a kid, When I was a kid, I would spend hours and hours and hours on the computer, and the same with video games. And I still do that a lot. I have a problem with it. I realize that. I kind of didn't really want to get another device so that not only was I glued to this device when I was at home, but I would also stay glued to another device the entire time I was out and about with people when I should be talking to them. So I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to become that person, and I knew that society and how people handle technology was going to change in the way it did, because I was already feeling the effects of it from computers, and it's actually really depressing. I find it very frustrating when people hang out with me and they hardly talk to me. They're just kind of like staring at their phone. Really annoying. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way, so there's that. Oh my gosh, what time is it? Oh, I gotta hurry up. I haven't done a whole lot. So I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. But now I have one, so I don't know, you might be wondering like, why on earth did you end up getting one, Laura? If you feel so strongly about this, why did you get it? And in fact, I have a lot of people, when they see my phone, well, let me start by how they used to see it. So when smartphones started becoming mainstream, people used to kind of laugh at me and make fun of me, and I still get that a little bit. It's kind of annoying and it's a little judgmental, but so don't judge other people. You can tease them playfully, but don't judge them, because you don't know if it's a financial thing. You don't know if they have a personal commitment to it, kind of in the way I did, because it's not like I couldn't afford to get one. I just chose not to. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's in my eye. It's in my eye. I stabbed my eye. I have a black eye. Literally. Okay. Okay. So the reason why, anyway, oh my gosh. Okay. So the reason I chose to get one is not because I wanted one necessarily. I mean, I did in some ways. I really wanted Instagram. You can't really, you can't post to Instagram and a few other different things unless you have a smartphone. You can have an account, you just can't like post anything. Like, why is that? What is that? That's so weird. Instagram, please change that. Please change it for those of us that don't really necessarily want smartphones. So I wanted Instagram really badly and couldn't get it. On top of that, a few other things in life basically get complicated. So certain jobs will expect things of you that they that require smartphones. Sometimes you'll volunteer for something. I had a project, like a volunteer thing that I volunteered to do, and they were just like, oh yeah, you can do this, that's fine, that's great. And no one said anything about what you needed, and then they just emailed me before I had to show up and said, you have to download this app to your phone before you come because you're going to be kind of like a register booth. And I was like, and I know everyone assumes everybody has a smartphone by now, but it's not true. I would say a few people still exist like I did. So that became inconvenient. I wanted to be able to contribute to projects and like business things in the same way. I liked the idea of having a camera that was actually high quality with me at all times. I liked the idea of, you know, being able to get an Uber because I don't want to take taxis. I don't want to like just kind of hope I can get the most affordable public transport that I can. So there are a few things like that. So that is the true reason I got this thing. Is just because it's inconvenient in our society today. I don't really like that as a fact, but it's true. So I want to be able to be kind of normal, and there are some things that I really wish I could also delete from my phone. I wish I could delete Facebook. It won't let me. So annoying. I wish I could delete YouTube as an app. I deleted a whole bunch of other apps I know I don't need. I have no intention of getting time waster apps. I left a couple games on there like Solitaire, just really basic. Because what if I'm stuck somewhere and I have nothing to do? But I don't think that Solitaire is going to be like a temptation for me to not talk to people or whatever. So nobody likes feeling left out of things either. So there's some things like FaceTime is really nice to have on you at all times. I would also argue things like Snapchat. That's the kind of thing I feel left out on. That's not going to change anymore. I know this might sound weird, but I've literally had this thing for like a few days now, like maybe 2 or 3 days, but the only thing I've really done with it is add people's numbers, and not even everybody's number, because I've been so busy. I like don't have time to look up apps. I don't have time. Ugh. I'm gonna make time at some point to do all that, but we'll figure it out. I have all the time in the world. It's in terms of like this year and in terms of my goals and all that stuff. So yeah, I've always wanted an Instagram. I really love art. I really love photos. I really love all that. Sometimes I look at it, but there's some I can't view because I don't have an account, and it's just dumb. I'm not quite done with my makeup yet, but I'm gonna get going soon. So thank you so much for watching. Yeah, you can subscribe if you want. I don't really care if you do or don't. But hopefully you just kind of enjoyed this video. I'm sure a lot of you haven't, you either don't know anyone that has a dumb phone anymore, so maybe this brought a few things into perspective on people that own dumb phones in 2018. Maybe it didn't. Who knows? Ask me if you have any more questions. So thank you so much, and bye.